been a while, but I'm back today with another cake decorating tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how I make my Gumpaste peonies, just like these ones. To make your peony, what you're going to need, first I've got this gum paste here. This one's the Squire's floral paste, which I've just coloured in rose. And I've got an airtight container just to put the extra petals in when we're not using them so they don't dry out. I've got some foam mats, a glass, some edible glue, just a craft knife, some wire, some tools for cutting the wire, a rolling pin, a ball tool, my peony cutters and the veiner. What I've also got are these little kind of dishes which I've made out of tin foil. Okay, so first of all what we're going to do is just prepare the wire and the start of the peony. So at the end I'm just going to fold the end of the wire over and just trim that off slightly. What you're going to need is a ball of gum paste about 1 inch in diameter, and then you just want to take your edible glue, dip the end in and push that in. I would probably leave that to dry overnight because what we want is the stick to be quite secure in the gum paste and for this to be quite solid. Okay, so once it's been left overnight, you'll actually be left with quite a hard ball, and this one, the wire, is really secure in there. So this is going to be the centre of the peony. If you did want the peony slightly smaller, then just make the ball slightly smaller. Take the gum paste and roll that out. If it does start to stick to the surface that you're rolling it on, then just use a bit of corn flour just to make the surface less sticky. So what we're trying to do is just roll the gum paste out so it is as thin as we can possibly get it. And what you're going to need is, I've got 3 petal cutters here, and these are 3 different shapes for the peonies, and I'm going to start off with the smaller of the 3. Okay, so I'm going to cut a few of these out. What we're first going to need is 2 of them for the first row, and then we're going to need another 5. Put any extra petals that I've cut out into the container. So taking our foam mat, I've got 2 petals here, and what I'm going to do is just bring in the petal veiner, and I've got a small sponge here which is just like a makeup sponge. So we just want to lay those on there and then just push the vein pattern into those. And then what I usually do with my petals when creating peonies is, because every petal is always completely different, and by using the cutters they're quite generic, so just where you've kind of got the shape of the peony, I try and cut into some of them just to make them a bit more random. Now because these are the first 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them over, and just using the ball tool I'm just going to really lightly kind of curl those up. So I'm just going to cover the back of those in some edible glue, just leaving about 1 centimetre at the top. Take the centre of your ball and just place your first one on like this and wrap it round. Now what we're trying to do is just cover the centre of the peony. Okay, next just take 5 more petals and do exactly the same process, and then take your petals, turn them over so that the vein is on the other side, and we're just going to use the ball tool, and we just want to thin out those edges and pull it towards the base of the petal just to curl it round slightly. Using the edible glue, we're just going to put glue on those from about halfway down, just on the bottom. What we want to do is just cover up this area. So we're going to take our first one and just place that over like that, and then just work your way around, just making sure that kind of as they close up, they don't have to be like completely flush with the top of the peony, and then just have a play around with it, kind of move them around. So just have them positioned until you're happy with them. The next row is going to be made up of 7 petals, so we're just going to do exactly the same thing to get those ready. Now we've got our next 7 ready, and we did those in exactly the same way as we did the previous 5. We're just going to take the peony, and these ones are a little bit more closed, so we're just going to work our way around the peony, just keeping them slightly more open. So if we start on one of the joins from the last petals, so just place that one on, so. And then the next one, you just want to slightly cover the previous one and just push on the glue. If you just push on the bottom, so we're not pushing kind of the top of the petals onto the flower, and that's just going to keep it open. So this is the start of the peony. So now we're going to kind of open it out slightly. So the next row is going to be 7 petals again, but instead of using the smaller cutter, we're going to use the middle shape cutter. So we want 7 of these. Okay, so here I have the next size up. So we have 7 of these petals, and as you can see, I've used the ball tool on those just to kind of curve those up slightly, and put the extra kind of cuts in those. So I'm just going to put some glue onto those. So we're going to take the peony, and then we're going to do exactly the same that we've done before, but we're not going to push those down. So you want them quite open. Because we don't want these ones closing in, I'm going to take a glass, and I've got some really kind of thin foam here which I'm just going to place over the top, and I'm just going to cut the wire down so it's no longer than the glass, and then just push that down. I'm going to take some tissue paper, so this is just normal kind of kitchen paper, and I'm just going to kind of prop those up, making sure that it's propping all the petals up how I want them, so they're not open too much, but they're not kind of closing on themselves. Take some of the smaller pieces and just put those in between some of the petals. Leave this layer to kind of dry for a little while, just until we put the next row on. The next row that we're going to need is the bigger of the cutters, and we're going to need 8 of those. And what I've actually created is these little dishes, and then I'm just going to sit the larger of the petals in there. So I've got all 8 of those done, and I'm just going to leave these just to harden up for about 20 minutes, half an hour. Okay, so I've got the last 8 petals here. As you can see, they're not completely solid, but they've just dried slightly, so they're going to keep their shape a bit more. So the peony, as we left it, has also dried slightly, but still has the kind of movement in them so that we can still kind of position them where we want. And the same as we have previously done with all the rest of them, we're just going to work our way around the edge of the peony, just sticking them down at the point of the base. Now, if you're finding it kind of tricky, you might want to do it upside down. Bring back in our glass. Now, I'm just going to switch the thinner foam just for a slightly thicker one, and we're going to turn that over and just pop the wire through the hole. Now, as you can see, as soon as we kind of let go, all the petals are going to flop backwards. So that's where I'm just going to build up the tissue paper again, which is just going to hold the outer petals in place. Now, please excuse the moppets on here, but this is some tissue paper that I've had for ages, which I just use every time I kind of make these. So what we're going to do with the smaller pieces is just kind of pull the petals about, and just tuck those in. So you might want to kind of fold bits over. So we don't want like all the petals completely touching each other. You want some kind of gaps in there. And then once you've kind of given the peony the kind of look that you want, we're just going to leave that to dry. So you might want to leave that overnight. So once you've left your peony to dry and harden, what you want to do is just start taking out the pieces of tissue paper. There is your peony. I really hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you did, then please click the like button. And if you'd like to see more video tutorials, then please click subscribe.